Hello, everybody. How's it going? Brad Hussey here. Welcome to Office Hours Live, the weekly show where I help new business owners, experienced business owners plan, launch, and grow their business, a business that provides you with freedom, abundance, flexibility, and purpose. Whether you're starting from scratch or you are ready to scale up in a big way, you are in the right place. Whether you are offering services or products, whether your business is online or offline, this show is all about helping you take you from where you are to where you want to be in business in an honest way with integrity. We also take questions live, and we answer the questions throughout the show. And we like to keep it around an hour, and we like to try and keep the topic, keep it on one specific topic. So today's topic is all about niche, and we're going to jump into that in a sec. I just want to say a special hello to all of the Freelancing Freedom students who are here. Really excited to have you here. I see a number of you from the Freelancing Freedom launch course. I'm going to say hello to everyone here. Hello, Monique. Good to see you here. Namita, Hafsa. Awesome. This is great. Tiff, Amanda, what's up? James, good to see you. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Alea, Ricky. We got John. Rafal. This is great. People from all over the world here. This is awesome. Any point you have questions, throw them in the chat. We are going to track them. We'll put them in my Trello list here, and I will answer them throughout. Remind me if I forget to get to your question, because I sometimes get off track or we get heated in a specific topic, and then sometimes I miss a question. So with that said, my name is Brad Hussey, host of the Office Hours Live, and I am a consultant entrepreneur myself, juggling a few businesses at the same time. And one last thing, if you want to make sure that you never miss one of these shows, subscribe and hit the notification bell right below the video here. So today we are going to deep dive into finding your niche and making a big impact in a small market. Okay? We're going to learn how to cultivate meaningful relationships, connect with real people, and uncover the pain points of real people so that you can begin preparation for developing the best solution. So let me switch my screen here to my topic points. Here we go. There it is. That looks good. Here we go. Beauty. All right. So, to start things off, I want to define some terms. So who here is familiar with the term niche? Now, you might have heard it pronounced niche, but I can't do it. I can't call it niche. It's not spelt niche. Therefore, it's not pronounced niche. Might be because I'm Canadian and we have, I don't know, a French background. I just know it's niche. So I know it doesn't sound right with the catchy phrase, the riches are in the niches. It doesn't quite work when you say the riches are in the niches, but here we are. So who knows what niches are? And if you are not familiar, it's all good. You're in the right spot. We're going to be covering into that. We're going to be jumping into that today. Now, I need to define some terms. So like some people might not know what niche is, but there are a number of terms that are encompassed within this niche. And I want to kind of get them out of the way so that as we talk about it through this office hours, nobody's confused. And to explain those terms, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a video from the launch course to explain that terminology. So, give me a quick moment here while I cue that up. I think I've got it video here. Hold on a sec. I was talking to an allergist and wrong one. Hold up. I promise I was prepared for this. They just always catch up. They always just catch me by surprise. I'm like, oh yeah, I got 30 minutes. I'm good to go. And then all of a sudden, I'm not good to go. Okay, I got it. Here it is. What's a niche? It's a term that can describe a shallow recess in a wall to highlight a statue or ornament, a nook, perhaps. However, it can also be used to describe a calling or vocation, a carved out cranny in the market, a small place where your otherwise little voice is all of a sudden loud, significant, even important. A niche is not just a skill, a group of people, a specific problem, or a unique product or service, but rather all of the above. A niche is what you need to find so that you can say no to most and yes to the most important. And what's an audience? We all know what an audience is, of course. A group of people participating in something together, such as watching a film at the cinema, enjoying a Broadway show, or partaking in a lecture in a university hall. We can imagine standing on a stage and looking out into an ocean of friendly eyes, gaze on you, awaiting what you have to offer them. In our case, what we offer is not necessarily a monologue, dance, or philosophical argument, but value, guidance, education, and ultimately, the solution to the problem they collectively have in common. Having an audience implies that you are commanding attention. People have come to see you, the message you carry, and want what it is you have to offer them. If you have no audience, there are no eyes to see, nor ears to hear or experience your message. If you have no audience, you are merely one of the same in a crowd of many. You've reduced yourself to a commodity, which can be defined as, according to Wikipedia, an economic good or service that the market treats with no regard to who produced them. In which case, you must either be the fastest, cheapest, or ideally both. In either case, you will eventually lose, because in our globally connected digital world, there will always be somebody willing to do what you do, but cheaper and faster, or perhaps both. What is authority? Having power and influence in a particular field. If you have an audience, you have some authority. If you continually deliver and add value to that audience, your authority will strengthen and your influence over the audience will grow. If you have no audience and the value you offer is reduced to a commodity in a general market, you will have little to no authority. Gaining authority and acquiring expertise does not necessarily mean you must strive to be world-class to everyone. That's a privilege reserved for very few in the world. It merely means you must strive to be the best for your audience, for your specific group of people, your niche. What is a minimum viable market, also known as MVM, which is how I'll refer to it throughout the rest of this course? Break it down. Minimum means the least or smallest. Viable means capable of functioning or living, and market is an area in which business is conducted and goods and services are provided. Put it together, it means the smallest group of people that can reliably sustain and keep your business afloat. So why do you want a minimum viable market, or MVM? Because it's easier to serve and become an authority for a small and specific group of people looking for the same thing than it is to pander to the masses. The better you serve your MVM, the more authority you will acquire, and the more significant your influence will be over your growing audience. Now, in the following lessons, we will explore in depth each of these topics, including the importance of being a specialist versus a generalist, how to find and workshop a profitable niche, establishing authority, finding your MVM, growing your influence from scratch, and much more. All right, so those are our terms: niche, authority, minimum viable market, audience. Those are terms that fall under the umbrella that come with the territory of niche. So as we kind of understand here, we have some people commenting in the comments there. A niche is your corner in the market. When referring to business specifically, you can have a niche in varying other parts of life. But your business niche is comprised of a few things. And those few things are what determine how successful your niche is. So you have your pocket in the market, and you serve a specific group of people with a specific problem, and you solve their problem with a specific solution. And if you dial that in and it's working and you found that minimum viable market, then you've got something that really matters. That's something that works. And that's your niche. It's quite simple. So let's jump into why we should niche. And if anybody has questions about, niche, authority, minimum viable market, audience, if you have questions about those, throw them up there in the chat. We'll make sure that we tag them and we'll address them shortly. So why should we niche? Perhaps you can chime in on this one. Jump in the chat. Let me know why you think that we should niche down. And while you're doing that, I can answer my own question. The reason why that we should niche down is because when you are offering a general service or general product to just generally everybody, we can't stand out that easily. The only way to stand out in that market, in that really saturated, very overgeneralized market, is to compete on the things that stand out in that area. So price, which means you need to be the lowest price, or speed of delivery, ideally both, as I mentioned in that video from the launch course. But here's the problem. You are not a mega corporation. In fact, mega corporations aren't good. Small companies are good. Not big mega corporations. Because what they can do is they can compete on price and speed of delivery, convenience, things like that in a really general market. But when you are small, it's in your best interest to find your small viable market, that minimum viable market, the smallest possible group of people that could sustain and grow your business. Now you might be thinking, why would I choose a small viable market? That means I'm excluding possible customers, right? Yes, of course. You are putting a hard stop on the people you will and will not serve. But I'm going to ask you something. How is it working out for you by trying to serve everyone? Web designers and developers in the house specifically, I can point you out in this because I come from the same field and the same background. As web developers and designers, how's it working out for us when we say, I'm a web designer and I'll design your website? Whoever you are, whatever your business is, doesn't matter the website, doesn't matter the style, I will design your website. My solution is that I'm a web designer. How's it working out for you? Are you thriving? Do you have a 6-figure agency that builds solutions and designs websites and builds websites on a regular basis? Probably not, because you are putting yourself and positioning yourself as a commodity. You're simply saying the value I have to offer is the skill that I have. You're saying that my value is only my skill. So, or rather, let me try that again. My value is the tools that I have. Okay, well, as somebody who needs, say, a website, I will just find somebody else who has the same tools and will cost me less money or will get it done faster. I don't care how unique you are. I don't care how special you think you are. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a commoditized service because I want it cheap and I want it now. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all want things cheap and things now. But if it's something specialized and very specific, if it's something that is painful, we're not looking for cheap. We're not looking for commodity. We're looking for specialty. We're looking for value. And we don't care what the price is because we don't see it as an expense. It's an investment. With an investment, let me try this. With an expense, the idea is to get it as low as possible. In my business, I will look at my expenses and I will look at my line items on my bank statements and go, there's a lot of expenses happening here in the software, or there's a lot of expenses coming here in these subscriptions. What are those expenses? And I will comb through them and go, I don't use that service anymore. I'm going to cut it. So I'm looking to cut expenses. Why? To widen my profit margin. But I will also look at investments and see what is something that increases my profit margin. Even though it costs me money, let's say that $1,000 per month adds an extra $2,000 per month on top of it. Or if I were to remove that investment altogether, let's say, for example, I use ConvertKit. No, let me go even more specific. I use Teachable to serve and to deliver my course material. If I stopped paying for Teachable, which is quite expensive per year for me, then I can no longer deliver my courses. So if I stop paying a couple $1,000s a year, that means I can't make revenue in an aspect of my business. That's clearly a mistake. It's not an expense. That's an investment. That enables me to grow my business. So you want to be seen as the investment, not an expense. If you are seen as a line item that can be cut, you're positioning yourself incorrectly. If you are seen as the person or the agency or the company or the solution that helps increase the profit margin for your client, that helps add time to their lives, that helps ease a pain, that helps make their business run better, smoothly, more effective, safer, more secure, whatever it is, whatever you bring to the table, you're an investment. So if you position yourself as an expense, then go cheap, go fast, if that's what you want to do. If you position yourself an investment, it doesn't matter about your price. You need to anchor it on the value that you add. So if your solution solves a problem that costs your client $10,000 a year, well then theoretically you can charge at least that because the value is there. By not hiring you, they're wasting money, they're wasting time, their pain continues. By hiring you, they're investing in something that helps them get better. So you niche down so that you can exclude people. The answer is right in your question. Why would I niche down? That means I'm losing out on customers. Exactly. We don't want to serve everybody. We want to serve somebody specific. You are not a mega corporation. You don't get to just serve everybody. It's not going to work. You have to say no to a bunch of people so that you can say yes to a specific group of people. The trick is finding the specific group of people that can sustain and grow your business. And that's your minimum viable market. I'm not saying find something so niche and specific that there's nobody there to pay for it. Which brings me to the niche formula. I keep switching to this camera. So the niche formula is as follows. And there's a number of ways to determine a profitable and viable niche and minimum viable market. This is how I do it. And this is how I do it in the launch course and at freelancingfreedom.com in general and in my business. There's 3 parts to any successful and profitable business. Okay? This is it. I call it passion, problem, product. I call it that because it's easy to remember. Triple P, passion, problem, product. Imagine it as 3 circles, separate circles: passion, problem, product. What you want is for those things to overlap. So your passions and the problem overlap, the product to overlap still, so that you have a Venn diagram and the intersections are your points of interest. The bigger the overlap between all 3 of them, the closer you are to something that's going to work. Now, what does that mean? Starting with passions. Passions are the things that you're passionate about, obviously. The group's, communities, audience. Another way of thinking this is, what is your audience? Who are the people you want to serve? Who are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Are you an outdoor enthusiast? Okay, that's somewhere to look. What kind of audiences and groups of people are in there that you would be excited to serve every day? Ask yourself this. What group of people would I be excited to serve every single day when I get out of bed? What group of people would I be excited to serve every day? Is it lawyers in Chicago? If not, maybe not. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't have to go with something that feels good, because business isn't always just about good feelings. Okay. I want you to be able to do something you're passionate about, that you're excited about, that you can grow to be passionate about. Maybe it's not something that immediately you're like, oh, I love horses and I want to make a business about horses. Well, maybe there's no viable opportunity for you there. Time to move on from the horses. Okay. Maybe you are passionate about helping people and you know some stuff about law, okay? Maybe you're not so pumped about law that it gives you the warm fuzzies, but maybe you're passionate about seeing change in small businesses and you have a soft spot for people who start up high impact businesses like law firms. Okay, that's a good spot. It's a good market. It's a viable market because there are people there with money, okay? And if you can see yourself building a business around that, okay, that's something to write down. Keep that in mind. So write down all of your passions, the communities, groups of people, audience ideas, things that you have some interest in to high interest in. You know, some of my passions don't really transfer well into profitable consulting business ideas. So music, I'm really passionate about music. I'm a musician. If I could just like not do anything and just survive on singing songs on an island with my wife, then I would go for it. Okay. But it's not paying the bills. And I also am passionate about providing for my family. So I will do, with honesty and integrity, whatever means necessary that align with my, principles and values. So, maybe I'm not that pumped about, one type of business, but I am pumped about helping people, and that works. So this category, passions, isn't just about your warm fuzzies. I love basketball. Okay, that's great. Is there a business opportunity in there? Is there a group of people? Is there a group of people in your area that you have access to? Are you in a community and you see that it is thriving and there are people serving that community? Keep this in mind, okay? There's a science behind it. It's not just guessing and throwing like a dart on the wall and going, that's a niche idea. Let's go with that business idea. So Billy, I hear the income from the horse's stable. That was a good one. I really like that. Okay, threw me off guard there. Awesome. So your passions, that's the first thing to think about, okay? List those out. Now, problems. These are problems within a market. So think about, this is why you need, each of these are contingent on the other. You could just list out problems. You could be like world hunger, the ocean's polluted, I don't know, high taxes or low taxes or whatever you think your problems are. They need to be contingent on the groups of people or the audience, the passions, the ideas that they're contingent on one another. So let's say, realtors say, you have an interest in real estate for recreation homes, cottages or something, or high-end condos in a metro city. And you have an interest in that and you could see building a business around that. Okay, cool. What problems do they experience? In that market, what problems do they struggle with? And you need to get specific, and you need to really hone in on it. Okay. This is where you theorize. Maybe if you're in that group, you know the problems. Maybe if you're not in that group, you need to start asking around. Ask people in that community, what are the biggest problems that you struggle with in your business? If you had a magic wand and you could just solve your biggest problem, what is that problem? What's that thing that's holding you back from really leveling up and getting to that next level? Find that pain point, find the sore spot, okay? That's key. A lot of new business owners they don't think this way. Their idea for business is, oh man, food trucks are so sweet. I'd love a food truck. Wouldn't it be so cool if I had a food truck and I made like fish and chips? wow, what a great business idea. I think I should do it. And then they go buy a food truck, and then they get the licenses, and then they go out and they realize nobody cares about their food truck except for themselves. They were thinking only about themselves. I like food trucks, therefore I should have a food truck business. That's not the niche formula. That's not a business formula. What group of people are you trying to serve? Maybe it's a type of people. Maybe you're in an area where there's a lot of interest in food trucks, or maybe there's a lot of possibility for food trucks, but there isn't really much competition. Or maybe there's a lot of festivals and such in your area, and there's room to solve a problem. Okay, so this is where it comes in. I like food trucks. I'm passionate about food trucks and festivals and so on and so forth. Okay, cool. Food trucks might fit in there. What problem does your market, experience? Like, well, I'm in this area. We have a lot of festivals and there's not a lot of food options. I hate when I go to a festival. There's never anything but like the one place to go that has terrible fries or terrible chicken strips or something. I think if I brought this in there, that would really, really nail it. Okay, ask around. Do other people experience that problem? Do they wish that there was a solution to that? Okay, then you start to dial that in. The closer that those overlap, the better. Now, products. Let's get to products. The products are the solution to the problem that the audience experiences. So remember, we got passions, problems, products. Passions are your passions, the groups, the audiences, the people that and the areas that you want to build a business. What kind of business, what kind of thing do you want to build your business on? Who do you want to serve? Great. What problems do they experience in that category, in that passion of yours, in that audience? Okay. Are there solutions that are viable? Okay. Think about this. Think about what solutions you could offer. And this is key because you might have, bam, good passion idea. Cool. That's step one. Maybe you got a great problem. You found that that's a painful problem. Okay. You got 2 of 3. You still need 3. If you don't have 3 of 3, you can't go forward. Okay. You got to reposition. Something's off. You can't do 2 of 3 and go for it. You can't do 1 of 3 and go for it. Any combination of 2 won't work for you. It needs to be all 3. So now that you know the type of people, the passion, the audience, and the problem, is there a solution that you can develop, that you have the ability to develop, that is valuable enough for people to pay for? You might think, okay, I like barbecue, and people who are into that, people who are into barbecuing and smoking meat, cool. And your idea is a workshop to teach people how to smoke meat, cool. There are people who like that and want that, myself included. But now you're so the problem is they don't know how to smoke meat and barbecue properly. Okay, that's a legitimate problem. The solution is you have a workshop, a live workshop in person where you teach people how to barbecue. So you've got the 2, but the third one, it sounds like a good idea, but will anyone buy it? Maybe you're in a community where it's all vegans and they don't care about smoking meat and brisket. You'll just upset them. You will offend them. So that's not a good idea. Okay? Maybe you need to rejig that to find how to make that align. Maybe you're in the wrong area. Maybe you're finding the wrong, maybe your audience is in the wrong area. Maybe you need to reposition a part of that 3-part formula until they all align so that you got a good audience and think that you'd be excited, type of person that you'd be excited to serve, a serious problem that is valuable, that is painful enough where they would really want a valuable solution that you could build a legitimate business off of. And then can you develop a solution? Realistically, do you have the abilities, skills, talents, capital, desire to develop a solution? And is somebody going to be willing to pay for that? Once those all align, then you're on to it. Okay. So that's why it's a science. It's not just, I have this idea for a business, I'm going to go for it. You'd be like, okay, well, put it to the test. Who are you serving? Answer that question. Okay. Are you excited to serve that group of people? If you did this for 5 years straight, you woke up every morning, would you be pumped to serve that group of people and solve their problems? Okay. Yes. Great. Moving on. What problem do they experience? You need to be able to answer that question too. Oh, they experience this problem. Is that a painful problem? On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being, I will do anything to fix this. 1 being, meh, who cares? What is that? Okay, it's an 8. That sounds painful and like they need a solution. What are you doing to solve that problem? I'm like, oh, I'm just designing websites. Like, how does that solve the problem? Because they need a website. That's not an 8 pain point. That's a 1 pain point. Why do they need a website? Get to the actual problem, okay? And so you need to be able to answer, who are you serving? What are their problem? What is their problem? How painful is that problem? And what's the solution that you will offer? Is it valuable? Is it viable? Okay? So that is how you know if your idea is a bullseye. You can have all 3, but it could also not be that viable. So it's important that you test it. You put it to the test. You try and book a client with that formula. If you know who you're serving, you know what their problem is, and you have a solution for that, then you could put it to the test. No more wondering if it's a good idea and saying, well, when I build a website, then I'll launch my business. Or when I get better at this skill, then I'll launch my business. No. It needs to fit the formula right now. And if it fits the formula, then you can go out to that person because you know who the audience is. And you could say, hey, do you struggle with that? Paraphrasing here, obviously be a normal human person. Do you struggle with this? Yes. I hate that problem and I wish I could solve it. I can help you. Here's how. Do you want to get started? Yes. Okay. So that's the formula. Now, there's some comments here. I want to address some comments to make sure I'm not missing anything exciting. Billy apologizes for his horses joke. All good. I actually really liked the joke. Roddy says, I'm in healthcare, but I've found a lot of physicians are in networks which provide web services. And then Alea saying, define web services. Roddy responds with web creation, maintenance, SEO, social media, site maintenance, and so on. And then Alea responds with, you mean web services to healthcare professionals? The wording is off there. And Roddy says, in every area, there are 3 or 4 hospital systems or health insurance groups. Physicians belong to them. They receive web development, SEO services with the membership. Right. Found out from a local business that my competition is setting up all kinds of small businesses with websites and not following up. So healthcare is not a viable opportunity due to the organizational structures. So there you go, Roddy. That's where you test it out. You might have a great idea. There's an audience. Okay. There's a group of people, a passion, a general area that you'd like to serve, healthcare professionals in your area. Cool. Good idea. What's their problem? You've identified the problem, but is there a viable solution there? Is there room for you to solve that problem? Or is it not really worth you pursuing? If it's not, move on, reposition, maybe find the deeper problem. Maybe there is an opportunity in there that is actually quite painful that you could move in, solve that problem. Or maybe it's just not viable enough and move on, get out of there, right? John says, passion, people, problem, pain, progress. Sweet. Lots of P's in there. Lots of P's. James says, decisively determine what narrowed marketable skill you know and you want to excel at and offer long-term. So yes. And that's the other myth. People think that they need to be really good at all the skills. No, that's not the truth. If you are wanting to be an employee, you want to be employed, then yes, your employer expects you to know a whole bunch of skills really well so that you will be worth hiring, so that you will be valuable to their business. If that's what you want to do, you're in the wrong place. You're at the wrong workshop. You're at the wrong live stream. Okay. I can't help you be a good employee. I don't really know. I don't have the authority or experience to give you advice on that. If you want to start a business and be your own boss, start your own company, be your own, have your own employees, then we're on to something. Specifically, if you want to start your own small company using your abilities and skills that you have right now. So you think that I need to be good at all these skills. Web developers think this all the time. I need to be good at all these programming languages, all these software, all this technology. The only person who cares about your skills, maybe you guys can answer this, especially the launch students will know this. Who are the people who care about your skills? Give you a second to comment there. You and employers. Those are the only people who care about your skills. Okay? That's it. Your clients don't care about your skills. You guys are nailing it. Roddy, Monique, yourself, only me. Yes. Your clients don't care about your skills. They don't care. Because if it was only skills they were looking for, then they would find somebody who has better skills that can be done faster and cheaper, right? They care about they don't care about you, okay? They care about the problem they're experiencing. And what they care about is if you can help them solve that problem. I don't care what hammer you use. I don't care what software. I don't care what brand. I literally don't care. Are you trustworthy? Do you have integrity? Can I count on you? Do you know how to solve my problem? How much is that going to cost me? And why should I give you that? The better you can answer those questions and not answer them with, well, I'm a web designer, I'm really good at designing, and I like Photoshop, and I'm really cheap. I'm not going to trust you. Or if I'm looking for a low value solution, then sure, looking for a commodity. The lower the pain point, the less the pain, the less valuable of a solution they're looking for. So if you're positioning yourself in the market where people are experiencing some level of discomfort or inconvenience, they don't want to pay a lot for that. And that's the truth. That's the truth. If you really need some coffee, let's say, for example, I go out on a road trip. Sometimes I forget to make coffee in the morning. I need coffee in the morning, and you're out on the road. You go, I'd prefer like a really nice cappuccino because I like that. I value that, but I need coffee right now. So I'm going to just get the cheapest, quickest coffee. I'm not going to go out of my way to find a fancy coffee shop because I don't care that much. Okay. For you, if somebody is just like, yeah, I don't know, my competition has websites, so maybe, I should have a website too. That's not a big enough pain point to say, okay, well, $10,000, we're going to get working on a custom brand strategy, marketing strategy, website. They're going to go, whoa, you're crazy. I'm just going to go to Fiverr and see if I can get this built for $5. Or better yet, I'm going to do it myself. And they're not wrong for doing that they should do that. You can't get mad at them for wanting that. They're just a normal person who has a small, non-painful problem that they want solved cheap and fast. But if you can identify the big problem, the painful problem that they really need solved and is valuable for them to solve, then we're on to something, okay? So let's see, more comments. Roddy says, clients just want to make sure the project is completed on time and on budget and meets project parameters. Yes, of course. Well, I'm going to add to that. They don't only want that. Of course, they do want that. They do want their project to be completed on time, on budget, and meets the project parameters. But more specifically, as an umbrella to that, they want their problem solved. Can you solve my problem? No, then we're not for each other. Can you solve my problem? Yes. Okay. Can you meet my project specs? Yes. Okay. Can you do this on time? Yes. Okay. Can you do this within the budget that I have? And the bigger the problem, the bigger the budget. Okay. Hafsa says, has a question. You were saying cheaper and faster. What if offering our services cheaper is not possible, that there's a chance of underpricing yourselves? My point, Hafsa, is that you should not be competing in the market of cheaper and faster because you will lose. Okay. You might be able to play that game a little bit, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work long term. You're not going to be able to offer things cheaper. Okay. It's just, you need to, especially if you're a company of one, if you are a small company, if you're a small business, if you're a solo consultant, solo freelancer, and you're going solo, and that's what I like to encourage small businesses, then your products and services need to be more premium because you can't compete in the general market. You need to compete in the specialized market. Let's see here. Billy says, we're not web designers, we're business growth consultants. Web design is one of our tools to grow your business. Yeah, exactly. Billy is nailing it there. If you say you're a web designer, you're taking the employee mindset. You're speaking to someone you assume is going to be your employer. See, I'm a web designer. Like, okay, that's nice. I don't care. Or I need someone to help me get more clients. You'd be like, aha, you're in luck. I'm a web designer. You're like, that's very nice. Can you point me in the direction of somebody who can help me get more clients? Now, if you're like, I have a design agency and we are out a front-end developer. Aha, I'm a web designer. Sir, I can apply for your job. Okay. See the difference here? The Falcon says cheap offers are making industries less valuable. I disagree. Here's why. Cheap offers and cheap solutions are actually making the market more convenient for customers. Simultaneously, what is happening is it's creating the opportunity and a split from the people who want something cheap, fast, now, from the people who want something valuable, lasting, and will return on their investment. So we want cheap things. We want there to be competition in the market so that you start to spread things out so that the customer has options. Your responsibility as a business owner is to find the customers that can support your business because they are there. We just happen to complain that, websites like Wix or Weebly or the GoDaddy website building tool is making web designers obsolete. Maybe. It's making web designers who compete in that market not that valuable. Yeah. And that's just the natural progression of how the market works. When computers first came out, they were the size of buildings and required highly specialized people to use them, and they were not accessible to anyone, and they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, we can pay $500 and have something that is 100-fold, 1,000-fold more powerful than those archaic computers that were the size of buildings and cost as much as a yacht. We can pay $500 and have one way more powerful in our pocket. That's a good thing. But what it's done is it creates opportunities for people who want something specific or different. So you are spreading out and providing options for the market. Now, your job is not to sit in the market that you like or you once thrived in and go, they're taking away my work. Your job as an entrepreneur is to be able to identify that and go, things are changing. Things are improving. People don't need cheap budget services to build websites. There's software to do that now. Good for the market for coming up with that, because who needs a human to just drag and drop a cheap website for someone who doesn't care about websites? They just need a landing page for their new business idea that probably won't survive. But if I find myself in the market and move myself around and find the people who go, I don't want a cheap budget website builder, or I don't want like a commodity service. I actually care about my business and I have enough cash flow and surplus that I can reinvest in my business. And from what I understand, if I invest in my marketing strategy, I can grow my business. And I like that. What is that going to cost me to invest in that strategy? That's different. Okay. Rafal says, is offering full service website plus online marketing for professional coaches that want to run an online course too B-road? What do you mean by B-road? Oh, broad. Sorry. Broad. Too broad. Full service website, online marketing for professionals and coaches that want to run an online course. Broad. No worries. Let me think here. I guess it depends. Because here's where I can start poking holes in that, Rafal. what type of coaches and online business owners? Okay. There are lots of different coaches and online professionals who sell courses and digital products. You could be a financial advisor who sells an online course on financial, on how to set up your first investment portfolio. You could be someone like me who helps aspiring business owners to go the opposite way, be independent, and learn how to start their own business from home. You could be someone who teaches people how to, who has online courses about how to create high impact podcasts or webinars. You could have an online course about teaching people to grow plants. You can have an online course about woodworking from home on the weekends. So there's as many online course businesses as there are people with ideas. So in that sense, yes, very broad. So you might want to find what type of professionals and coaches who want to have an online course business that is consistent and thriving. You might want to define who those people are, because saying online people who have online courses, it's kind of like saying someone who wants to start a business. So for me, I'm specifically talking to the people who are employed, don't like it, and want to leave that to go home with their families and start their own business small from home so that they can keep it small but provide for their families and at home, in a consulting, in a manner of consulting. So, freelancing, it could be technical people. It could be people who have, human resources businesses, people who offer financial solutions. So for me, it's not, I teach you how to start a business, because I don't have an MBA and I don't know how to start a company that's going to grow to, a huge organization with CEOs. I don't know that. And I don't claim to know that. And I have no desire of getting into that because I have no authority or experience in that. But what I can do is take someone who's just not happy with the way things are and what the culture expects of them and say, hey, open your eyes, turn around, walk with me. I will show you how to take what it is that you want to be able to do, provide for your family in a meaningful way using the tools and technology we have available, which is amazing, and book clients. You can keep your business small. We can use automation and delegation. Maybe once you're at your apex of your growth, you have 2 employees who you pay virtually and your profit margin is 80% and you're bringing in 6 figures or more per year, but it's still you at home. So that's the kind of thing I can get into. So there's a lot of room for finding who you want to serve. So, and I can get more specific. And if I find through my experience that I see that there are more stay-at-home moms who want to, be consultants, and I see that there's an overwhelming wave of that demographic, then I will pay attention to that. Or if it's college dudes who are I just kind of want to do my own thing, and there's a lot of those people coming and they're willing to buy my stuff, give me their attention and follow along, then I'll pay attention to that. And so it's important that you try and find that market. Rafael, interesting approach. Thank you for sharing your ideas with me. I'll rethink it and apply. Awesome. Perfect. Falcon says, by the way, Wix can't take place of HTML and CSS. You can see the industry still needs coding. Okay, so I'm going to jam on that for a quick sec. Wix, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, okay? Wix can take the place of HTML and CSS, and it does. Weebly, Squarespace, all of the editors that just generate it, because it's just programming, and the people who create that software are developers and programmers, and they're always working to make it better so that their code is good. If your end goal is just to make good code, a machine will eventually be able to do that, because the human, the smart programmer, will go, this code isn't good enough, and I want it to be able to be so good that it can just generate the right thing. So it can, and it might not be Wix. It's just Software can generate code, and it can generate it good, and it's getting better. So, but where I see you, where I can agree with you is that the industry still needs coding. I'm going to say that it's creating a need for people who need real humans to build their software. It's creating an opportunity for the entrepreneurs who say that, you know what, software is taking care of that. I don't think we need to swim in that pond anymore. It's taken care of. It's not viable anymore for me to do this. But there's a whole group of people now that don't want that do it yourself drag and drop. They want something more specific and customized. And that is where you want to be. Hafsa says, Brad is scaring us South Asians. I certainly hope not. I'm just outlining how the market works. You know, we always get better and better in terms of developing solutions for customers' problems. No matter where you are in the world, you can grow an audience, you can become an authority, find your minimum viable market, find out what they struggle with, and deliver solutions over the internet, online, through Skype, through email. You can do that. Most of my customers are not where I live. That's just the truth. I think I have one client in my city, and I have one customer who's in my 200 kilometer radius, maybe 3. The rest of them are all over the world. So you can do that from anywhere, and it doesn't matter who you are or where you live. If you have an internet connection and you can understand people's problems and develop solutions for that, well, you've kind of checked off the major boxes. Now it's time to get to work. So we're kind of closing off on time here, and I know I had one more point to talk about. Who is your customer? And that was mainly a point this was a point to say, so we have our audience, so we have the passions, problem, and products. We kind of jammed on this in that topic, in that last point, the niche formula. You need to know your customer intimately. So you need to create a customer persona. You need to understand who they are, you know, where they are, what they do, the type, their demographics, their psychographics. So, you know, the type, their age, gender, occupation, salary, all of this stuff. And then their psychographics, like their interests and their passions and their behaviors. And if you can create a customer persona that will give you a really good idea of who your dream customer is, then what you can do is you can keep that person in mind. And it might be a real person. And I have people in my Freelancing Freedom Launch course that I model how I serve the rest of the people in the course. I go, that person is literally the perfect customer. They nail it right on the head. That's the type of person I really want to get into and serve and help, because if I can serve that person, that's going to have a broadcasting effect, and it's going to cast a bigger net from there. If I just say I just want to help people quit their jobs and start a business, then you can go find that elsewhere, and who cares? Nobody really cares. But if I can dial in and get more specific to the person, then I know where that person is, meaning who they represent. So I know where they hang out. I know the communities they're in. I know the online groups they're in. I know the offline groups they're in. I know the circles that they frequent. I know their passions, their ideas, their problems, so that if I wrote an email to my list and I said, are you a such and such? Do you struggle with this? Do you wish that there was a way to that? If you said yes to those things, then keep listening. I did this that helps you solve that problem. Here's how, here's why, here's proof, and here's your action step. Read my blog post, sign up for my webinar, join my course, give me a call, hire me to build your thing, whatever it is. The people who go, yeah, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me, great, exclude them. They don't need to be in your business, and you didn't lose out on potential customers because they were never going to be your customer in the first place. But if you know exactly who it is, then you can dial in and you can refine your wording, or your messaging, your branding and design. You can refine your products and your services and the way that you communicate to the type of people that you're serving. Okay? That's why you need to know your customer intimately. The Falcon says, I really like your duck lips. Please make your face like that once. Weird question. Maybe if you see it in one of my courses, then you could just look at you could pause it. But I'm not going to hold it against you. And he says, there's also a market for design and implementation of Squarespace, Wix, or Weebly sites for customers who don't even want that low level of coding, mixed sites within an organization. Yeah, and that's right. So these softwares come in and they replace the people who once hand coded it. But now what it's done is it's created another unique problem. Sure, the people can build it themselves. Let them build it themselves. They're not good customers anyway. They don't value your service or your solution. They don't even have that big of a pain point. Wix has that covered, or Weebly has that covered. Squarespace has that covered. But it's created a unique problem where people go, I like the cost of that, and I don't like the cost of hiring an agency or even a freelancer to build it custom. I just need that, but I don't want to do it myself. Then you go, I can do it. And here are a couple options. I'll do that for you, and I'll do it with, obviously it's going to cost you because I'm going to do it, but it's not going to be if you hired me at my full rate. But here's what I can do. If this isn't good enough for you, here's another option that is going to be better long-term, a better investment for you. Yes, it's more cost up front, but here's why that's better. Here are the benefits for you in your business. Choose your option. I'll build your Wix website for whatever price. It's cheap, straightforward, and we'll have it done by next week. Or if you really want to get into it, let's jump into this, my higher customization, my higher premium solution, and it's going to be a better investment long-term. Let me know what you think. And then more often than not, they'll respect you for offering that and see, I can grow with this person. How about let's start with option A and eventually let's go to option B. Or they'll go, I didn't know that was even an option. Thank you for revealing that to me. Let's get started. Okay. And now you're trustworthy. Tiffy Tiff says, does your ideal customer just want to start a freelance business or specifically web design development? Aha, good question. I once thought that my ideal customer were web designers and coders who wanted to start freelancing, and I was on point with that. But then I started to realize that there were other people who were joining Freelancing Freedom and going, Brad, it says that this is for web designers to start businesses. Will this course work for me even though I am a copywriter, even though I am a digital marketer, even though I am trying to start a marketing agency with 2 employees? Will this help me if I have a human resources business that I want to start from home on the side? Will this work for me if I am an author? Will this work for me if I want to be start this business, do this? I'm a financial advisor. And I go, well, originally I would say, well, you can glean from the course how to apply it to your situation, but there's a lot of examples of just web development. So you can take the course, ignore the examples, apply the principles. And half the time they go, okay, cool, I'll give it a try. And the other half, they'll go, well, if you make a course for people who want to start consulting businesses and freelancing, regardless of if they're a coder or a creator, then let me know. And so that's what I'm doing now. There's been enough of a demand from people who say, I'm not a developer and I don't care about that. I'm not building websites for my clients. I'm providing financial investment strategies for my clients from home. And I want to be able to create a solid service, a retainer, and then create a digital product that I could sell passively 24/7 so that I can create a nice solid business from home. That's what I'm doing now. So if you're a web developer, yeah, you're in the right place because I am a web developer. So you can trust me on that. But if you are a human resources consultant, a coach, if you want to start up a yoga practice, if you are a financial advisor, if you are an accountant, a lawyer, and you want to start your own small business from home, or maybe it's in a small, boutique shop, then we're talking. We can get into that. My examples are now more I provide more examples. They are industry agnostic. The common thread rather, is that you desire to leave what the culture expects from you. Get a job, keep your head down, just work your way up, be quiet, don't make noise, don't make waves. Turn around, make waves, be countercultural, start your own business, use the tools and techniques and strategies we have now with software, with all of the availability that we have. Work from home, create a really meaningful business that provides for your family, that serves real people with real solutions. You keep it small, but your revenue grows. You could do it from home. You could do it from wherever you are. And you can do it based on who you are, the group you want to serve, the problems they experience, and however you want to serve them. Okay? I often found that web designers and developers, no offense, they just want jobs. They want to get jobs. And so for me, when I was trying to communicate to people, hey, web designers, let's start a business, they go, but what programming languages should I learn? And what companies should I apply for? And I go, what am I doing? So now I've repositioned and said, hey, if you are wanting to start a business, regardless of if you're a coder, creator, coach, or consultant, come this way. So that the web designers who go, what languages should I learn? I go, go to Code College, take some Udemy courses, follow some stuff of mine on YouTube, get good at your skill, go find a good job. But for those of you who want to start a business, come this way. Okay? Brandy says, it took me a long time to niche down, but I'm glad that I did. Awesome. I'm glad that you did too. You're the SharePoint developer, right? I know that. I've been aware of you for quite a while now. James says, an expert is someone who knows some of the worst mistakes that can be made in his subject and how to avoid them. Werner Heisenberg. Cool. Thanks for sharing that quote. Lori says, hi and bye, Alea, Brad, and all. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. And Tiffy Tiff says, thank you. You answered my question. Awesome. MacDude 2020 says, do you think that horrible clients just come with the territory of freelancing? No. In business, there were always going to be clients that don't fit and clients that are perfect. It's your responsibility to find the pool of people who you want to serve. And it's your responsibility to vet them and to force them through your process, your vetting process, your qualification process rather, so that by the time you get a call or a notification on your phone that you have a scheduled meeting, which should be automatic, and you will learn how to do that in my courses at Freelancing Freedom and in my webinar, which I'll tell you about in a sec, you know that they're a good fit, that they are worth pursuing. So horrible clients, they don't just come with the territory of freelancing in general. They come with the territory of if you're just open for business for anyone and everyone who wants anything and everything from you. You're going to get people, bottom feeders, people who don't care about the value you offer, who just want something quick, cheap, dirty. Maybe they're not a match for you. So it's your responsibility as a business owner to position yourself in front of the people who you care about and who care about your solutions. With that, 2 more comments here. The Falcon, business and jobs are 2 different things. We often mix them when we talk about web designing. Yes, and that's why I want to differentiate that. If you're a web designer, if you're a web developer, if you are in any industry and you are looking to get a job and you are here because you think I can help you get a job, you are in the wrong place. I am terribly sorry. But regardless of your industry, if you think that you have an idea you want to pursue and you want to start your own business, whether from home or in a small boutique shop, and you want to be able to profit and make a meaningful living from your skills and abilities by getting clients and serving them with services and products and building a business that way, Freelancing Freedom is probably a good step for you. In fact, it is a great step for you. And perfect segue here. I would like to invite you guys to check out my webinar. Now, so here's a little free gift for you just as we're closing up here because we're getting over time. I have a new webinar called The 5 Steps to Help You Launch Your Freelance Business this week and book your first paying client. Let me try and word that. There's a lot of words. 5 steps to launch your freelance business today and book your first paying client this week. Right there, freelancingfreedom.com/webinar. If you like Office Hours Live, if you're getting value from this, then this is probably a good step for you. When you join the webinar, if you haven't yet, you're going to be sent a demo of the course for free. Check it out. And you're also going to get our pricing calculator for consultants and our revenue roadmap. It's going to help you with some of the stuff that we talked about today with niching and finding, who you're serving and what problems that they experience. And with that, one more comment. This is a really hot Office Hours Live, lots of comments. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone for sharing your thoughts and questions, by the way. If you don't mind sharing this, says Rafael, do you do any kind of online ads for your courses? I'm thinking of how did you target people that want to start businesses? One, I have a large email list that I've grew over time through organic means, people following my business advice and my tutorials and my blog, my personal blog posts. So I built up a list. So I have a list that I can communicate to them. I have a funnel and email marketing and newsletters and stuff that consistently gets people's eyes on what it is I'm creating. In terms of ads, yes, I have been doing ads. I'm not terribly great at them, but I am working. I have a couple ads out now. Maybe some of you have seen them about getting people into the webinar. And I'm always testing and trying to figure that out. But yes, I do use ads and they are a great strategy if you can dial it in properly. And so yeah, just to answer your question, yes, I do ads, but I mostly do organic stuff and referral stuff. But ads are a really great and useful tool for people who are starting up businesses. And we're going to actually talk about that in the systemized course in Freelancing Freedom, which is coming up this year as well. Okay. That, my friends, is it. Check out freelancingfreedom.com/webinar. If you haven't done so already, that alone, I've already had someone say, hey, Brad, this should just be a course. It's 2 hours long. I actually put out a post on Facebook asking people, hey, how long would you stick around for a webinar? 30 minutes to an hour or, an hour plus. And most people said, yeah, 30 minutes. And I went, okay, thanks for your input. I'm going to create a 2-hour webinar. Why did I do that when everyone said they wanted 30 minutes? Because everyone who says they want 30 minutes, they want things fast, they want things cheap, they want things yesterday, and they don't want to put skin in the game. So if you're not willing to invest a couple hours of your time, which is precious, I do not like wasting anybody's time. Your time is your most valuable asset, and if I waste an hour of it, I've done myself a terrible, terrible thing. I've done a terrible thing to you, and that's not cool with me. Your time is the most valuable asset you have. So if you're willing to invest 2 hours with me, I am guaranteeing you that you're going to walk away from that going, oh man, that was one of the best 2-hour investments I've ever made in my business. That's what this is. That's why it's not 30 minutes long. It's very long because it's very impactful and you should listen. If what you've been listening to today resonates in some way, shape, or form, this is for you. Commit to it. I promise I will make it worth it. And then you can make a decision where you want to go from there. You get the free gifts as well. You get a free demo of the course, so you just kind of get behind the scenes. So I'm not doing any smoke and mirrors. You just see what you get. And if it's for you, you could use your own judgment. And you get the free gifts. You get the pricing calculator, revenue roadmap. Those are free tools, really valuable tools that are cherry-picked right from the course. And that alone is something that can increase your prices, find you better clients, and get you started today. This webinar will help you launch today, and it will help you book your first client this week. No guarantees you'll book your client. That's up to you. That's up to your market. That's up to your passion, problem, product. But I hope I helped you with that today so that when you do this and you get started, you'll actually see some serious results for free. So I will post the link here in the, maybe Alea, can you post the link to the webinar and the link to get the free gifts in the webinar? That would be awesome. Brandy says, Brad's webinars are very worth the time. I really appreciate that, Brandy. I really appreciate that. Tiffy Tiff, thank you. Roddy says, post the link. We'll post that here just in a sec. Namita, yes, we'll post the link. And Nargis Chowdhury says, how can I get a client? You check out this webinar and you follow my action steps. That's how. Hafsa says, I actually watched that webinar while eating popcorn. It is really 2 hours long. Yes, it is 2 hours and 4 minutes and 16 seconds of pure popcorn goodness. Okay. Check it out. Get started. In the description of this video, will be the clickable link, but just type in freelancingfreedom.com/webinar and you will be able to get started with that webinar, get the free gifts and everything like that. With that said, my friend, I'm going to close off as I usually do here lately with a little promotion explanation of what you will learn in this webinar. It's kind of fun. It's a cute video. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you coming here. And let me just check my calendar real quick to make sure I will be available for office hours next week. I'm going on vacation very soon. Yes, we will do office hours next week, but not the week after because I'm peacing out for a bit. Okay, folks. Love you so much. Cheers. God bless you. Have an amazing weekend. Get started. If you liked what you heard today, get started with that webinar and let's see what we can do for you and your business. Cheers. Imagine having more than enough clients than you knew what to do with. That'd be a pretty great problem to have, right? Knowing you have a waiting list of clients months in advance wanting to work with you would change everything. Humor me and imagine what being fully booked would look like for you. I'll give you some ideas. You could quit your day job and finally be your own boss. Perhaps you'd start saving some money for your kids' education or retirement or buying your first home. You could be location independent and work while you travel. Or your spouse could leave their job, stay home with the kids, start their own business, or pursue their own passions. When I went full-time in my business, my entire life changed, and it opened me up to a brand new world of freedom and possibility that I'd never imagined possible. I often remind myself that I'm currently living my dream life, freedom of choice, to travel, to live where my family wanted to live, watch my children grow up, to set my own hours, to wake up without an alarm clock. You get the idea. I'm sure you could conjure up an image of what your life would look like if you finally had the freedom that running your own successful business would afford you. But there's a problem. You probably know that freelancing income and starting your own business is risky and volatile. One month you're earning a CEO salary, and the next, well, let's say beans and rice would be a luxury meal. I get it. I really do. Maybe you have a few clients, but you have no idea how to create a stable income that you could rely on from those low budget projects. Maybe you have the drive and desire to be successful and you could imagine what your success would be like, but it ends there. You simply don't know how to get yourself to that goal. What if I told you that there was a clear path that you could follow so that you could position yourself as the go-to expert in your chosen niche or industry, to get booked based on the value you offer, not the price you charge, to dramatically increase your rates and attract better clients who book you in advance as a result? What if you could get fully booked in your business with your ideal clients, doing work you love doing, and earn a great living while doing it? You're in luck. My name is Brad Hussey, and I've supported my family on a single income with my business since 2012. One boutique design agency, 2 online education businesses, and 400,000 international customers later, I've experienced firsthand the ups and downs, the highs and lows, wins and losses that come with the territory of running your own business from home and online. I've picked up a few things along the way. Strategies, techniques, systems, tactics, tools, mindset, you name it, that have allowed me to quit my job, go full-time as a freelancer, and build a business that matters. A business that pays the bills, and much more. A business that has positioned me as an expert in my niche. A business that affords me the freedom and flexibility to travel, to take time off with my family, to enjoy life at my own pace, not my boss's pace. But here's the deal. I'm just a normal family guy living in a small town. I'm not out of touch, and I've been where you are in your business journey. I'm just a few steps ahead, and I believe I've cracked the code to building sustainable, growing, and thriving client-centered business by building a business based around service while using the tools and technology we have available to us online today. And this is why I want to invite you to join me in my free webinar today. You'll learn what it takes to plan, launch, and grow a successful business as a freelancer, consultant, and online entrepreneur. We'll dive deep into why you should launch a business this year, and why it's crucial to start with service as a freelancer. You'll learn the bullseye test to find a successful business idea and how to choose a profitable niche in any industry. You'll learn how to launch today and book a paying client this week using only the skills, tools, time, and connections you have at your fingertips right now. You'll learn my triple threat technique for pricing and positioning so you can set your business up for ultimate success and scale beyond your revenue goals. And finally, I'll show you my EDA formula for scaling your business 2x, 5x, 10x, and how to turn marketing, sales, and service delivery on autopilot. I'm thrilled to have you here, and I'd love to invite you to my webinar. And as a thank you for saving your spot, I'll send you a free gift that I call the Revenue Roadmap. Once you save your spot, you'll get an email from me with a link to access this huge free resource where you'll learn how to charge the prices you deserve, how to double your rates, and learn how to achieve your revenue goals in your business. Your free account will be preloaded with my interactive revenue roadmap tool, plus a video walkthrough. Also, I'll throw in my pricing calculator, which will show you the science behind hourly, weekly, fixed, and value-based pricing models, so you can start implementing that pricing in your business today. So without further ado, save your spot, and I'll see you in the webinar.